Alright, hello everybody, welcome to the Legacy of the Void Archon Showmatch. Now, unfortunately, we don't have names down below, but just know that Team Red Archon is spawning the bottom left side of Orbital Shipyard, and it's going to consist of MaximusBlack and Puck.
The top right for the Teal Archon as Terran, it's Intense and Arium.
And I just have to quickly adjust my overlay options as we were playing just a moment ago. Perfect. Alright, so it's a best of three between these two. They were going to just do it for funsies, but you know what? We said, alright, we'll put up, it's not a lot of money, but we'll put up $50 for the winning team. You know, it's 25 bucks each. Dinner for winning this best of three. Now, Zombie and I actually just got out of some... We've been doing a lot of Archon show matches over the last day, and I guess if you guys are watching the VOD of this, it is only pretty much day 2 of Legacy of the Void beta being out, but we've had our fair share of experiences. We've actually managed to take down a couple of GMs in Archon mode practice. We actually just fought off against Puck and Maximus, and believe it or not, managed to sneak out a victory in a best of 3 over there. So, I don't know what they have in store for Intense and Arium, but I tell you what, Zombie, I don't think they're willing to lose another match.
Yeah. Actually, my question is mostly if they're willing to do anything weird, because, I mean, you put 50 bucks on the line, and suddenly it looks a lot more tempting to go ahead and, like, ling all in, even though it's supposed to be a show match.
Yeah, I mean, that is always the concern we've had leading up to Legacy of the Void. It's definitely a concern I still share after experiencing Legacy of the Void, that we will have a lot of people who just kind of try hard, you know, go for the win and not do anything new. I definitely think the new units... They bring a lot to the table. The changes to the units we already know and love bring a lot to the table. But Terran, a very interestingly low amount of, I think, overall changes so far. And we do have actually a Reaper coming out of the Teal Archon. Now, this is kind of funny for me because we were trying to go Reapers ourselves, but Adepts are really good at shutting them down.
Yeah. Adept's kind of the Reaper of the Protoss so far, but does beat the Reaper of the Terran. Otherwise, I mean, the Adept is kind of you know? And, oh, that's right, I'm using the stupid overlay. Here we go. Oh, we got 2 factories on the way. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, you know what? I've been really excited. You know I love mech. I've loved it for the longest time. I'm really glad to see we're sort of seeing a resurgence of it in Legacy of the Void. I'm not sure if the trend will continue, but right now, I mean, a big part of it is Cyclones are, I wouldn't say broken, but incredibly frustrating to deal with.
Yeah. They're one of those things that's, they're just going to have to open up to counter, I think, before they nerf it, because the builds are going to get a little more clean, and, you know, as everyone figured out, Ravager Rushes are pretty damn good very quickly. Same thing's probably gonna happen with the Cyclones, and you know, it's never really good to force people to open up against something that doesn't really create that great of gameplay. Yeah. But that's when the nerfs come in.
Yeah, I'm guessing we should probably rewound and open with this statement too, but just so everyone's aware, an Archon mode show match, what we're casting right now, it's your typical 1v1. All the mechanics are the same, the units are the same, there's no tweaks, it's not like the maps are different like 2v2s, but it's 2 players controlling the same team. And some of you may remember the version of this known as Team Melee back from like Brood War days type thing, but Archon mode does have this just wonderful uniqueness to it, and it's definitely made the game a lot more fun. Stressful still, nonetheless, but it's still fun.
Yeah. I'm actually a little worried that playing it too much, especially since I'm always on macroing, always on microing, that I'm gonna forget that I have to take care of units when I play 1v1.
We'll forget how to play the 1v1s. Dude, it's already happening to me, man. I was already on that bridge. 1v1. I was on the cusp beforehand, it got worse. But we do have 2 Cyclones at a time being made. Now, these units are not super expensive. I think it's about 150 gas or so, but expensive enough that you can't exactly spam them. However, it's so hard to not get value for them. Now, one of the big things Team Red Archon has is a Sentry out, forcefully on this ramp. The greatest block of the Cyclone, pardon me, is the fact that you're limited on where it can go. You know, he locks on, that's great, he'll kill the Sentry, but now he's stuck at the base with the Stalkers, otherwise he would have gotten away scot-free without a scratch on him.
Yeah.
In fact, oh my god.
Oh, wow.
That lock-on skill's so annoying.
There's another one, though. Like, can he actually handle this?
Yeah, Phoenix on the way.
There's gonna be a second one on the way.
So,
I don't know.
Well, actually, this might already be spiraling. When there's 2 Stalkers, I was feeling pretty good about this. We actually had to face the same problem ourselves, and we found Phoenixes were kind of they're an okay band-aid. They pick them up, they stop the attack, but they don't have the damage to really kill them. And Cyclones, even just their base attack, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, 1v1 a Breed Lord, man.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
What up? Yeah, it is. Well, with 2 Phoenix now, everything's a-okay. The Cyclone is actually the SCVs, so I kind of saw that in the mini-map. So they're alright for now, and the game does go on, but Teal Archon having went to, 4 double factories, I mean, it's a lot more committed to doing a 2-rack to go in a mech, which you always bring up as a possibility. Like, 2 factories, like, you're just gonna go in a mech.
So here's the problem with the lock-on ability. You have to actually outrange it to stop the attack. Vision is irrelevant. Now, that's something that's probably really broken. It's still the start of beta. Maybe they'll nerf that aspect of it. But right now, once they target you, they don't let go until you're out of range. This missile turret advancement out of Team Teal, I mean, this is a really smart move because they know air is the one thing that's going to shut them down.
Well, the thing is that Red Archon has done it to us, so I really, it's probably not that they didn't expect it, it's just that they didn't have an answer either, you know?
The Disruptor's an interesting choice. I don't know if they'll be using this. I see the Warp Prism there. I'm sure they're trying to get it across the map and cause some counter damage, but they need to clean this up.
Yeah, Disruptor, as I recall reading Jack Attack's little, guide to basically stuff that you don't really think about. Disruptor really it breaks a lot of lock-ons. It's a very, very interesting unit, the way that it interacts with everything else that's going on. So it should be good against the Cyclones. Okay, well that went poorly.
I think Team Red's starting to throw a little bit hard, getting a little bit too flustered by what is the Cyclone. They did get a 3rd base snuck out though, so I mean, it's not like they don't have anything behind this. Oh, good hit on the Disruptor! Takes out the majority of He's gonna lose the Disruptor. It's so expensive, but he also puts cooldown on all the lock-ons. So right now the Stalkers can actually finish this off, and now it's just a bunker and a couple of Cyclones left. This is not nearly as bad as it was before. That's a great move with the Cyclone. Great hits.
I mean, it was 300 gas, and let's grab the minerals for a second. For how much is a Cyclone?
I don't know, not as much as the Disruptor, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not as well, but still, it's a lot. It's gas, though. It's a factory unit. So, I mean, it took out, like, how many at the end? I think that was actually a fair trade. And considering the fact that they actually have a 3rd down, that's really helpful. But, honestly, I guess Teal Archon also has a 3rd and a 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, resources lost actually doesn't look too devastating for the way this has gone. It's been a big dedication on both sides.
What was the macro player doing? How can you expand twice?
Okay, well, there's that. But I was going to say, despite the fact that these were kind of even trades, I guarantee you Team Red is a little bit more on tilt than Team Teal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why Teal feels comfortable getting these 2 bases, is that they know they have control over the map. They know that the unit count's very, very low. They actually cannot deal with this army, I'm pretty sure. There's another Disruptor coming out, but hopefully they'll split a little better.
Yeah, Cyclones are armored units too, and at first glance you might think, like, we'll just get a Void Ray, but the problem is, again, that kiting comes into effect. They're a little bit too fast, but that Disruptor's faster, gets good shots! Should be able to execute this, slow as it may be, it does live. Blink on these Stalkers would be an absolute must when it comes to chasing these down, or getting away and breaking the lock-on, but no money for it. Going for +1 weapons, they're trying to get their 4th up, because Teal doesn't really know about the hidden base.
Trying to lock on that Nexus, I guess, is a cool move. I mean, they get it down very, very low, but of course, giving up the lock on the Stalkers, they do have to run home. But that is quite a scary army. That is, like, that's not Tank Hellion, that's Cyclone Hellion.
Yeah. For those asking, Team Teal is Intense and Arium, Team Red is Puck and Maximus. I'll try and perhaps add their names to the overlay game too. We just kind of did this on the fly. This wasn't really a show match we were prepared. You'll notice there's no event on Team Liquid. Everyone's just enjoying their time with Legacy of the Void, and we thought we would as well. Now he's going to get a nice sneak attack on this, maybe. Might go for the natural. Either way, that Disruptor might be more necessary back at home, though. There are a lot of Stalkers, but man, between the amount of Hellions, much less the Cyclones, there's no way this Disruptor gets anything close to value. It's a lot of damage, but it doesn't even hit the tank. That's awkward.
Yeah, it's just killed the SCP.
Well, here comes the Cyclones. This might just be a death push. Hellbat's gonna be able to soak hits. Cyclone's gonna be able to dish out that damage. Yeah, he's a little bit derpy, but as we can see, even in combat like this, they can still take take Phoenix down pretty easy. Gonna kite back. Yikes. Nice dance on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's good control on both sides. Like, Red Archon could have easily just straight up lost right there, which is something that Legacy of the Void has done a pretty good job of. It's increasing the amount that micro can do for you. I mean, micro is certainly important in Heart of the Swarm, but as more units have more spells and different compositions, these very small dance-like maneuvers are going to be more and more important. That said, I think Red Archon's still kind of screwed.
I mean, a Disruptor could get a magic hit. There's really a lot of ways this could change. Even with the Hellion's additional health, I think the Archon, or the Disruptor does 160 damage, right? 145, pardon me. It can still one-shot a lot of the Hellions, the Hellbats. The units are clumped up, slow their mech. Good hit goes off. Takes out a good chunk of the Hellbats. Don't know if that's enough for the Stalkers to engage, but they gotta wait for Blink. +2's nowhere close to finish, but that Blink is gonna be so much mobility. But you know, aside from all of this is going on, good for Ass on the top. This is what I really was hoping to see more of out of pro players. The crazy base is being taken. We always talked about the way economy would change, but one of the biggest things is just expanding like crazy. You know, 10 minutes in a game, 4 bases, this was unheard of in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah. Well, I think Teal is getting kind of, they're getting kind of away with murder, I guess. Like, there's a reason they're expanding much more often.
You know, I thought that was the Raven upgrade because they still have placeholder graphics. That's actually the Cyclone upgrade, folks, who increases the range of the lock-on from 6 to 9. Oh, so if it wasn't bad already...
The War Prism is pretty key with Disruptor, which is why I actually kind of like the unit. I know everyone else is like crying, why haven't we splash unit? But you just can't, with that many Cyclones, you can't get the War Prism to help either. It's gonna die too, and you waste like an extra 200 minerals.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, Colossus aren't really an option either, as silly as that is.
Right, like what do you do? I mean, Storm, like
nice
the High Templars will
cancel.
die much faster, because what is actually Storm's range? I've never really had to think about it.
It's not that long. I don't know what it is.
It can't be the same as a Cyclone with an upgrade.
No, certainly not. I do like more Disruptors coming from the backside, though. Look at the sandwich these in. Yo, Team Terran here might think they got the jump on red. Yo, oh, you've covered my Stalkers. What will I do? Oh, no. Just kidding. Psych. Here comes 2 Disruptors. Now, he does start these a little prematurely. I don't think he'll get to connect with the army. Oh, that was bad. So, here's the problem with the Disruptor, right? It's such an explosive, volatile, dangerous unit that is so effective, but if you miss, you're screwed. They're slow, they go on cooldown for a very long time. Most of this mech army is badly damaged. One shot from either of those Disruptors would have taken out half the Hellbats, some of the Cyclones, maybe gets rid of the tanks, but trying to blink away for safety, blinking for dear life to take out a couple of tanks on the run, but there's just too much chasing. Blue Flame Hellions, Cyclones on the chase, Stalkers are going down, and this is not looking good for Team Red Archon because behind this, we have battle cruisers on the way.
Okay, well, Red Archon did manage to get another lift on one of those bases, but that doesn't really matter. They have extra orbitals to spare. They are almost certainly going to die.
So Disruptors do friendly fire, and we just witnessed a small example of that hitting a lot of the Stalkers.
Yeah. This should be GG.
Yeah, the Colossus is going to try and add some to the fight. Colossus range has been nerfed from 8 to 9, and the base damage reduced quite significantly. I think 20% or something, so it's only 14 damage. What the hell is that? 14 damage!
I think they really did take heart when people said, like, why Disruptor when you have Colossus and Storm, and maybe they did nerf the Colossus a little too much.
I think the Colossus has a very limited role in the matchup right now. It's mostly effective versus Bio.
It is certainly true. You know, I'm actually wondering, like, what could have been effective against this, because, you know, before saying Cyclones are OP, which honestly they probably need to be nerfed, like, opening air is what we did and got lucky, and that's how we break out of the Cyclone Contain, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually sound that bad. Like, carriers have
Disruptor shots! Not good.
Give away the interceptors. Tempests are really, really fast and might be able to outrange and move away from the Cyclones. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's certainly true. The range on the Tempest could be nice, but we did find that 2 carriers, microed correctly, were able to take on a combination of, like, what, 5 turrets and 4 or 5 Cyclones? I mean, carriers have been improved significantly. They build faster. The interceptors are much better. The AI doesn't suck. I mean, I'm not saying, oh my god, you have to go carriers. Oh, that was a good snipe. But it's definitely an option we found to work.
I think it might be your best bet initially, as, you know, Blizzard is not going to nerf the stats yet. They intentionally basically make them pretty damn strong, so you'll use them and they'll see what they look like in the right capacities, where if it was weak, no one would use Disruptors and Cyclones.
Right, I just mean, they've been getting...
aren't permanent.
They've been getting good use of the Disruptors. Red Archon is down in supply in a big way, but it's not like they... Oh, okay, that's good. It's not like this was... I feel like this could have snowballed either way, depending on how the initial engagements went.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't know. The Cyclones came out much faster than I thought they did. I thought they were going to be about the same production as tanks. No. And I'm guessing that they build faster, they're cheaper, like, they just built so quickly. It's such a big army, so fast. You know, a mech army shouldn't really be able to produce faster than a Protoss army, a mech Terran army.
Well, you know, I didn't take this into account because the game art doesn't read the upgrades properly with the beta, but 3-3 finishing up here for our mech player. Only level 2 weapon upgrades for Protoss. I don't know if the 3 will finish before the game's over. Maybe DTs are going to be what saves them. I don't know, but this is not looking good.
I mean, for what's going on, though, I mean, seriously, Team Archon, Teal Archon, has had like a 50 army supply. I'm checking every once in a while, and yet Red Archon seems to do good damage. I mean, they're initiating a base trade right now, which honestly, if they can get into production, won't look so bad. I mean, most of the Cyclones are dead, so now it's just a regular Terran army.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to base trade it out, but I feel like they could go home and clean this up. I mean, there's just so little over here. But it looks like base trading is going to be the option, and perhaps thinking about starting production up elsewhere on the map. I mean, they are going to lose a lot of the critical tech structures. Dark Shrine going to go down, no gateway warp-ins. They're not exactly floating cash right now, though, so they can't really position, I guess, a bunch of new gateways.
No. I mean, really, just... I guess when I first played Legacy of the Void, I expected a lot of banking because you got minerals so quickly, but you're also expanding really quick, so it's really not the case. You know, you look back at your bank and you think you have 500, you're gonna have 50 minerals in that. These blue flame Helens have not been helping the economy either. They've been getting really great shots. Oh, one more.
Yo, I can't help but wonder too. This is something we're definitely going to look at when we organize show matches, guys. But getting into the Skype calls with these folks, listening to what's going on, hopping in and out, just to see what the thoughts are after engagements, during engagements, before engagements. Because, I mean, I imagine Team Red Archon, they're yelling at each other. Okay, you gotta blink, I gotta go. You know, and Team Teal is probably just a little bit more laid back, saying, "All right, I got BCs on the way. What do you want me to do with them? I don't know. Whatever you like. We're ahead." Like the dynamic difference between a team that's struggling and a team that's ahead. Stalkers are going to walk into this. If we can keep them alive, they'll be able to take on the BCs, but...
unnecessary warp, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a purpose or a mistake. Either way, Teal Archon has, I think, pretty much locked down game number 1. GG.
I'm going to stay in this game for a second longer. Teal Archon... Actually, their natural base, surprisingly, still has a couple minerals. I know.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get some text overlay up real quick.
No, I was like, just thinking, like, these Cyclones going to be a big problem, right? Because if they do another TVP, that's basically what they're going to do. And I'm sure MaximusBlack and Puck are both scratching their heads to how to defend that better. And, you know, maybe had them able to force field more, they would have not let the ball rolling, but then they would have been stuck on 2 bases in a game that really doesn't let you stick on 2 bases. And only because that map had an in-base expansion, or with other maps. It's like, what else would you do? The only thing I can imagine, besides just actually reducing the damage on the Cyclones, which again they're probably going to do, would be to make them actually have energy somehow, and like make their ability based on that, and thusly the feedbacks actually being a counter as well.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where it goes over time. Hopefully this will be readable over the text. We'll find out next game, guys. I'm trying to make it look pretty for y'all. Y'all. But hey, game 1 goes to Team Arium, Team Intense. Let's see if I can make these names a little bit bigger without being too intrusive. That should work. The font I'm using right now is called Ahorni. A-H-O-R-N-I. Alright. Ruins of Ceres. I think this is the green big jungle map.
Okay.
Could be mistaken. Actually, isn't there like a map preview option or something? Yeah, this is that big green jungle map. Okay. This is actually... Hey, yo, this is the one we won on. Yeah. Alright guys, well, no map intros, so I guess we just hop directly into game number 2. Yes. Awkward is as awkward does. Running out of water here, man. I've been streaming all day. Summer Group S2, it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to do some of these. We got the Lycan League tomorrow, right? Our very first tournament.
Yeah.
And we'll see who signs up and who plays. But guys, welcome back. We're going into game number 2 right now, and it looks like those names are going to be a little bit intrusive to read. So let me see if I can fix that up a bit somehow, some way. Maybe I'll put it over here for now. on the right side. I mean, because the upgrades are borked anyways, so maybe that'll work. It's the best I can do for y'all right now. I'm so sorry about this, but welcome back to the abrupt, unofficial Archon best of 3 show match between 4 fantastic players. Before we introduce everybody, I would like to once again remind you that an Archon mode show match is basically a 1v1, but with 2 players at the steering wheel instead of just 1. And spawning in the bottom right corner of the map, the players driving this car are going to be Puck and MaximusBlack.
In the bottom left, as the teal Archon, it is Arium and Intense.
Yeah, they changed it up this time. Game number 1, they were Terran. Game number 2, they bring out the Zerg. We did have Puck and MaximusBlack kind of skirting around on Terran a little bit in our previous series, but it looks like they want to stay Protoss and hope to strengthen their resolve, I guess.
No, so what is teal Archon going to do with Zerg?
I don't know. They did spectate our games, so maybe they're like, hey, cracklings are stupidly good. Maybe we can, as pro players, do it better than these crappy casters.
It's probably true. It's probably true.
The alternative that I imagine, though, I mean, Ravagers, we talked about this a lot when we were playing too. Ravager rushes are really common right now. Everyone's like so gung-ho on those units. I would actually really like to see how they use them. Oh, 6
Ravagers?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll open with it, if they'll rush it, maybe it's just a bit of pressure, but, I mean, out of every stream I've been watching this with Zerg, I've just been seeing Ravagers, and more Ravagers.
Yeah.
Some Ravagers.
How else do you use them, Rifkin? You just kind of A-move. Yeah, they're pretty good. And it is actually, it's not going up to 8-lings, it looks like. Hoping to catch Red Archon off guard, I suppose.
Okay, when they research upgrades, guys, I'm probably just going to turn the nameplates off, okay? I can't even with this. Oh, you know what I could do? Hang on. This is going to go like hella ghetto mode. Because it's like super old school. But I could put the Control N and board on. And just stick the names up here. Maybe? There we go. That'll kind of work for now.
This is a ling all in. This is just...
It's just straight up a ling all in?
Yeah.
Alright. Very good. Hope that looks pretty.
I just thought that was important to note because, you know...
This might be manageable. The Adept does do bonus damage to light. Takes out links pretty quick. He's only got about 1, though.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, only 1. I don't think he can actually do it. It's going to require some sick micro, and I guess they do have a person entirely dedicated to micro.
Yeah, one can take the Mothership Core, the other takes the Adept. Yeah, this is, for Team Teal Archon, they're going to get at least the Pylon for sure. Not sure if they'll be able to get the Council on the Nexus, but Wall's going up at the front, make sure this does not get out of hand. Looks like they've resolved to give up the natural base.
They're prepared to, although, honestly, Teal Archon has started droning at a third base. They didn't have to give it up.
The Mothership Core may actually be able to hold this, though. It's getting pretty close to an overcharge.
Yeah, I think they realized that, too. So, and they got a sentry out there. You go. So, all right, that's good. They were, of course, afraid that there was more dedication behind this, as you should be. But no, just the third base. Love to see a follow-up, though. I don't know what it would be from Teal Archon.
Well, good resolve out of this, too. I mean, that's definitely a classic Puck move, to not panic and put the pylons at the top of the ramp. I mean, he's normally one to SimCity up there in the first place, but between the Adept and the Sentries, they kept him in this game. Now, the Adept has some cool abilities. It's the new Unit 4 Protoss. The biggest one, of course, is this bonus damage versus light is kind of insane. It's a really slow attack. It's not exactly something you can easily abuse, but later on, it upgrades. The Twilight Council's got this really cool ability called Shockwave. Now, as it currently stands, I don't imagine we're going to see a lot of Shockwave because of how late it comes into play. But what it does do is if the Adept gets a killing blow on the unit, it makes the its attack bounce twice.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt that it is hard to get to. Just like the Banshee speed is kind of hard to get to, but at least you're already going mech with that one. You might well be on your way to a different tech entirely off of Twilight Council, as of course, you know, your splash is usually not based on a Twilight Council. In fact, I've been seeing not a lot of storms at all. Archon, sure, but not storms.
I actually can't think of a single streamer I've seen that's gone storm or had storm used against them over what we've seen in the last couple of days. This might just be because gas is not exactly harder to get per se in Legacy of the Void, but managing your gas is certainly different as you have less per base. So, you might be on 2 bases, but by the time your geysers expire, you actually don't have the same army you would in Heart of the Swarm, just because there's less gas that needs to begin with.
So did Teal Archon see the amount of gateways that our Red Archon had? It looks like they did. They see, you know, a total of 4, basically. Yeah, 4. And do they have anything to help against it? They've droned up pretty hard, so they're at, actually, only somewhat hard, I guess. 42 workers isn't really that great. Oh, well, 52. Sorry, wrong one.
They did have to make up, too, from,
yeah.
Really, but I'm liking this because there's the recall possibly available in a few seconds. Time Warp is basically garbage now. For those who haven't seen it, you're almost never going to see Time Warp in the same conventional sense you're used to seeing it. It goes on the ground, takes longer to open. Units don't get slowed immediately, but when it does open, it's like huge. It's way bigger than the old one. However, the Adept does manage to sneak past all of this, go straight towards that main, but gets caught by another Queen. So no drone killing just yet of this gal, rather, pardon me.
But just scouting is really what she's there for, what she wanted to do. See if there were a bunch of roaches up in the main, and, like, actually Ravagers. It's scarier, because this push depends, you know, mostly on force fields, and Ravagers do have the spell that breaks force fields. Honestly, I've not seen use of it yet. I think people are...
Oh, there's that Time Warp. Look how long that takes them up, but when it's done, it's huge!
Oh, the Ravagers are done. Oh my god.
On top of the sentries, though, 60 damage a shot. He's got to make sure he keeps dodges. Both boys got to be microing. Splash damage is pretty scary to deal with, but if you get that force field on the ramp, no, he's out of energy.
Well, what does it matter?
Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage. I mean, the Ravagers have pretty good hit attack. They don't have a lot of health. You know, they're basically roaches with an extra ability. Before throwing himself in there like that's the perfect spot to throw down some of those corrosive blasts or vials. Pardon me.
Oh, okay. Well, there that happened. But you know, like fearing the run into your main or natural force field is no longer really that much of a threat with Ravagers.
Yeah, it's not. Well, we'll see. Hang on, we got a counterattack to worry about here. It might be a threat for the other team. Try to force field off like the ramp.
I mean,
Ravagers just bust off through.
They do still break force fields, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, I mean like it's the other team that's got to worry about it, right? Not Teal Archon. They're not trying to break out of their ramp right now.
Yeah, I would like to see, you know, I'd like lurkers contained. It's like, nope, okay, didn't die.
Good prediction shots.
Did you go ahead and micro that mothership a little bit?
Yeah, there's 2 of you at the wheel, man. Like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of lings, though. That's what's really scary about this. Let's not forget, too, the Ravager attack, it doesn't have a huge splash radius, but if the probes are stacked up, if anything's in the wrong place, it can do a lot of damage very quickly. And that Corrosive Bile is scary. Now, we do have a Ninja base taken out of Team Red Archon. I actually really like this move.
Yeah. It seems like the only way they're going to be able to hold on, they are going to be stuck on 2 bases for a while, is a little bit contained without a disruptor to help them out, which is on the way. Actually, one's already out, the second one's on the way. You know, Warp Prism with against Zerg is going to be a lot more useful than Warp Prism against those Cyclones.
I like how it's being used to scout right now. It's actually a pretty good move, because the Observer would cost gas, something he desperately needs, but this will pair up well with the Blast. It should be able to take out a good chunk of the Ravagers if it can connect. Only gets about one of them, but that pickup range is really far in the Warp Prism. So as long as one of them is constantly microing this on cooldown, they should be able to eventually get some hits.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you could just technically keep it on a Ravager, and they do splash damage themselves, by the way, like friendly fire. So it's quite difficult. They have to entirely spread. This is halting their entire. Whoa, that was really close. It's halting their entire attack to be able to spread. This is quite good for Red Archon.
I didn't see that second one. Good pickup. But now, you know, Team Teal knows there's about 30 seconds those are off cooldown again. That's 30 real seconds, not some weird in-game time. His time was synced up here in Legacy of the Void.
That's true, but it's surprisingly fast. And every time you attack, you do have to ball up. And, you know, you're attacking a natural. It's quite small.
I feel like they keep unloading because they don't know if it's off cooldown or not. But good hits on that Ravager, or that Disruptor. Second one's going to go for bait.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's another 4. Nice shots.
Except for losing that other Disruptor, which honestly, I mean, if we're going to be real here, there's going to be a time, if everything is the way that they are, that losing a Disruptor to Ravagers should just never happen. We're going to be like, oh, this player is so terrible right now. Warp Prism has, like, sick range.
Well, I feel one of the biggest things about Legacy of the Void from what we've experienced, I don't know about what we'll see more of, but there's a lot more comeback potential, it feels, with the new units. The design like really helps you level the playing field if you make that mistake. The new Viper ability is so cool. The Protoss have a whole plethora of AoE now.
I feel like that's true. Like, I think in general that is absolutely true, but right now it has a lot to do with people not being used to microing so often, which again sounds like, you know, we're ragging on Heart of the Swarm.
Well, actually, what's kind of funny too is I was talking with State actually just last night when we were hanging out on the stream, and one of the things he had mentioned was he just jumped in and started playing and trying to win. He didn't experiment with any units. He had like 15 or 16 games in, he had no idea how Stasis Field worked at all. I mean, a lot of these guys that were going to cast prior are going to be that same mentality. But I know for a fact Puck and MaximusBlack have been experimenting with a lot of different units.
Yeah, but it still doesn't, you know, it takes a lot of games to start realizing what wins against what, you know?
Are the drones paying attention? No splits.
It's like, I think the most like obvious like way that we see this is with lurkers, is that people will spread against them initially and think that there's only 2 left, that they'll bulk up, and then that's when like the trade becomes even. You bulked up against 2 lurkers, like rip. So that happens like a lot in the Legacy of the Void. I mean, people are gonna get better, sure, but it is allowing for a lot of comebacks, and we see one right now. Archon, Red Archon, damn it, has been on 2 bases. Well, 2. It's not. Secret bases for a while.
Right, but we've also seen as well the team Red Archon knows very well how to deal with these mutas. Yeah, identifying this swap is going to be very important, getting possible Phoenix out. But I just realized something kind of insane. Because the spell damage of the Disruptor is so high, 2 of them could actually kill a whole thing of eggs. Can you imagine catching a Zerg player who's got like 50 larvae, you know, banked up in the main or something? Oh, that's kind of a cool use of recall to get the probes over undetected. He's still going to find out about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're on 2 base, even in Heart of the Swarm, we start getting a little suspicious, but especially in Legacy of the Void. You gotta start checking everywhere. And Red Archon, have they had enough time to get up to those Phoenixes that countered us so heavily?
Still aren't done just yet. And if they go north, I mean, there's really, what can really be done? He's warping in some stalkers here desperately. Cannons coming down. It's panic mode, because this is not 8 or 9 Mutalisks, this is 25.
Yeah, unfortunately, not getting any units that really help against this. Adept, no. Disruptor, no. It is just back to Phoenix, a Blink Stalker, maybe some Archons.
Yeah, the Lings are actually quite worrisome here, too. They don't quite have that crack. They're not quite on Hive Tech yet, but there's still just not a lot to stop them. The Ravagers can sit back and fire with the cannons for free. Meanwhile, the Mutas do get towards that main. The Stalkers are looking for a way to get involved with the fight. Maybe a Blink, maybe not. But upgrade's definitely looking good for Red Archon, so 1 Nexus will fall. DTs, though, no detection, should be able to clean this up.
You can't hit them with the Ravager shot. Oh my god, the probes just got slaughtered.
Yeah. You know, though, I remember how much I hated this when we fought against them. Constantly counterattacking and having DTs pick you up. And the one thing we noticed as well, Red Archon is very good at precisely and precisionally targeting down the Overseers. So it might not be so easy to actually deal with those DTs as time goes on.
I think Teal should start putting down Spine Crawlers on their other bases. They'll happen soon enough. But they're in such a commanding lead again, and Red Archon, you can't go these Disruptor like, counterattacks. The DTs can try and help out too, but once stack defense is up, it doesn't help either. The Mutas just, they're very effective against people that open Disruptors.
I want to clarify, by the way, just in case anyone's confused what happened, that was just the Disruptor trying to die. They know full well you can't attack air with the Disruptors. No damage goes down, but yeah, the Phoenix are finally getting out there. It doesn't take much to clean up the Mutas. We got Arium Pulse Crystals as well. You know, theoretically here we've got MaximusBlack macroing while Puck's controlling the Phoenix or vice versa. Normally you see the Phoenix end up losing and taking a couple of hits because, well, the player has to eventually stop and macro, but when one person can dedicate the Phoenix, we should see a situation where really very little to any go down once Arium Pulse Crystal comes out.
So we have a tech swap on the way from Teal Archon. Not Ultras, but rather a lot of Lurkers.
It's kind of cool.
It's interesting, though, because they're still going to need the anti-air against the Phoenix. The Phoenix can still pick them up, just like Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, Graviton Beams could be a problem. At the same time, though, this could be one of those awkward situations that you know, I kind of stumbled upon by accident. If Team Red Archon's not thinking about Oracles, or they're not thinking about using their Disruptors, it's actually going to be really hard to deal with the Lurkers, because it's going to be so easy to snipe off Observers over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I mean, they're such in a bad position, too, that if this was a perfectly even game, it would be a lot. I mean, there'd be like, 15 Phoenix right here, and the Lurkers would, they wouldn't have time to position themselves correctly and think about sniping the Observers and whatnot, but they definitely do, and they definitely have the creep spread to start putting down his stag defense to help out. Like, Jesus.
Well, one of the greatest things here is Teal Archon not panicking too much from this. The Mutas could dive in, take some bad fights. We got Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers at every base. I mean, the gold's been pretty much mined out. I don't know how much they want to dedicate to actually harassing this out, but the Zerg team certainly looking comfortable right now.
Yeah. About to creep up Red Archon's gold base. It's a little kind of sucks for them. Technically, it's creeped up their 4th base as well. Bottom left. Taking all the bases on the left side. I mean, they could have gone on a hide maybe a little bit sooner, as they've been, quite in control this entire game, but they're on their way. I That is actually a lot of gas. They can go for those Vipers.
Yeah, Vipers have a really cool ability to shut down Phoenix, but this isn't mass Phoenix like we saw. You know, this isn't like 14 or 15 of them. It's a very small amount, so Vipers might not be the initial thought for now. We may see them come out a little bit later, but Corruptor's doing a great job guarding the Mutas.
Oh, he doesn't know there's lurkers there.
Not yet,
oh,
but he will.
He is gonna know. The Observer's gonna see. The Observer's gonna see. Dope.
I mean, before you get the Hive Tech upgrade for the Lurkers, that +3 that they're now researching, they do have a really good range, but they get a Colossus old range. Oh, the Corruptors go down, actually. This could be a bit of a problem. Oh, no, he's got to be careful. They wanted to dive on top of that. The spikes, though.
I think this might be a situation where Teal Archon, kind of what we were talking about earlier, you know, they're on so many bases. They've had control of this game for a long time. They should have like a 4,000 bank if this was Heart of the Swarm. And instead they have 50 minerals. A lot of gas, but not a whole lot of minerals. So what should have been an easy, you know, 20 other Corruptors is quite difficult.
Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, it's a situation where they've spent so much at this point, they haven't had a chance to max out.
Oh, he's guessing. Oh, God.
That was a bad guess.
That was a terrible
That was a 300 mineral, or 300 gas, 100 mineral bad guess. But we do have Vipers coming out. So Vipers have this really cool new ability. I think it's called Air Bomb or Raid Bomb or something. I'll look it up once.
Raid Bomb? I don't think it's that obvious.
No, but the point of it is, it does this really cool AoE effect. If you guys remember Irradiate back in the days of Brood War, it's essentially that, but for any unit, not just biological. So if you got Phoenix clumping up, you just put it on, it's this dot that affects them, and it affects things nearby, it does a lot of damage, and if the unit dies with it on it, it stays in the air.
Wait, it can affect ground too?
No, sorry, in the air.
Okay, so it's air damage, air specific targeting, but it damages the ground units if you hover over the ground units?
No, I don't think it touches ground at all.
Okay, so not at all. Alright then, alright. So
at least if it did, I didn't really notice it when we were using it. Tries to walk past the Lurkers, but the Stalkers takes some big hits on the way by. This might be the opportunity to get some damage, though. We don't really see a lot in the main to defend. The Mutas are going to go back to defend. Lurkers are going to fall back. This gives Phoenix position to advance forward.
They don't have any observers. They would be able to pick up those lurkers. At least kill a few.
What's this called? Parasitic Bomb. There we go. There's something bomb.
Raid bomb.
I don't know, dude. Raid, you know, anti-bugs. I don't know.
I know.
That's what I was thinking at the top of my head. They're gonna get the Hive Snipe though. This will be pretty nice. Cuts out mostly Viper production, but might limit any tech that hasn't been researched yet. For example, adrenal glands, which is insane, by the way, guys. Adrenal glands has changed things for the crazy worse.
Yeah, as well as an Ultraless Cavern, hopefully just put it down. So no second tech swap, but like I said, it's not really an opportunity to tech swap. You don't have 2,000 mineral bank, so it is quite dedicated and quite a slow process.
They're doing really well with the Stalkers, by the way. They are getting cleaned up, but look at our resources lost. What was kind of close before, not even.
Yeah. You know, I gotta say, if Legacy of the Void reduces the viability of Zerg tech swaps, then I'd be pretty happy with that.
Okay, so we got some disruptors looking to go out. I believe there's, if you can correct me, I think they're still immune to fungal once they've activated, but not if they get caught.
They break out, yeah, exactly. Yeah. They break out of a lot of things, exactly. Yeah, I think even break out of stasis, but I'm not sure.
The Blinding Clouds will be pretty nice for the Stalkers if they land a fungal growth. There's some really cool combos set up here.
Wait a minute.
Normally
no.
Oh, what?
Never mind.
Okay, well, I was going to say, normally you're fumbling through your unit commands, trying to get the cards up, see what's what. But, I mean, theoretically, in this Archon fight, you could have one person just controlling the Infestors and the Vipers, the Spellcaster, essentially, dubbed Arium, and it's intense, who controls the rest of the fight, the rest of the battle, transfuses Queens, gets the Lurkers down. I mean, again, the teamwork here is pretty cool, because one's going to be macro while this goes on. Now, the Phoenixes do find some Corruptors in the top, but sadly, they're not going to be able to get a whole lot done for that. And again, a Disruptor misses the guess on the attack. I don't know how it gets out alive, though. Jeez.
How are you supposed to get the vision on actually lurkers? This actually seems like such a big problem. How do they do it?
I mean, I guess the War Prism helps a lot too. It bridges that gap pretty significantly.
Oh yeah, but you know, there could have been so many Corruptors that sacking a couple of them.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. Nice shots. Picks up in the War Prism too. Nice control on Team Red Archon right now.
Yeah. This is quite delicate. I mean, both are scared about pushing into each other, rightfully so. Does lose the War Prism.
Can he get the Infestors?
Gets the Infestors.
That's a good shot. That's one of the few times that's worth it. The Disruptor is such an expensive unit. To give it away like that is insane. But once again, clump it up, going for the Infestors. Gets two of them. Might get out alive.
Wow. But it would have not gotten funkled. That's quite surprising.
Yeah.
Where has that lurker count gone to? I thought he had like 15.
Go for the lurkers like this. Not quite worth it, because you can't one-shot a lurker, but if I guess it's damage like that one was, you can get some good shots off. I really like that Warperson pickup control, though. That was really good.
Yeah. If Red Archon could get some harassment on the top bases, they could really... I mean, they're already basically... It's not even. They're going to start running out of money faster than Teal Archon so far, but they've really bridged quite a gap.
Yeah, I mean, they're behind in a pretty bad way for a long time, but the other thing, too, is they've got all these new bases, but there's no mining going on. No gas mining, no simulators. I mean, probe transfers would be pretty important right now. Sitting on 62 workers for what is like 7 bases, spread them out just a little bit, you know?
If,
oh, nice snipe on the new lair.
Yeah, and a lurker den, nice. Of course, that is evolved from the Hydra sense. It takes quite a while to rebuild.
Yeah, Stalkers, you know, we always talk about this. You know, this is more of a Swarm host thing we would see in Heart of the Swarm, but, you know, Protoss players, they get desperate, they say, screw it, let's go for the run, let's see what we can do, and Blink Stalkers always seem to do so much good damage once they start doing this, and I'm really glad they did this before there was only 4 or 5 of them. They do it with what is essentially a maxed out army, and this is going quite well for them. Teal Archon is struggling to find a way to respond, because even if they can engage, there's like, what, 4 lurkers and a fungal? I mean, they'll get some of the Stalkers, but this won't be all of them.
Oh god, that was so painful to see. There wasn't any observer, so I was afraid that the lurkers would literally be hidden. You know, you didn't bring the rest of the army over there, so they literally walked on top of them. But,
oh yeah, don't they have the ability too to like hide their attack or something? You can do that.
Yeah, hold position lurkers has supposedly been transferred over into StarCraft 2. I mean, people asked that at BlizzCon, and they were like, it's going to be exactly like Brood War, which should have meant yes to that question.
To spam cool. Attack command on the overlords. I don't know anything about Brood War guys.
Well, I just said hold position lurker, so I wonder like.
Whatever. Man, that's a big cell I run by in the north. These will get some good shots down, but I've heard a rumor, and I don't actually know if this is true. I'd have to go back and look. Someone said the speed benefit of charge is actually not that great. Like, they're slower than they are in Heart of the Swarm. I don't know if that's actually true or not.
If it is, actually, it's not... It's not terrible. Like, charge lots... I don't know. They weren't necessarily overpowered, but... You know, nerfing them isn't actually that big. I don't know.
You know, I'm looking at Teal Archon. They got this bank, right? But there's no more mining going to be going on. They're losing a lot of their hatcheries, so we look at the larva count. 45 larva, but they're not maxed out. Like, what are they waiting for? What are they looking for?
I actually don't know.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I think they may have lost most of their tech. Looking at their buildings right now, they can only build roaches and lings. Maybe mutas?
But lings actually been really good in this situation, and I'm not sure why they're not.
They had adrenal glands.
Even without adrenal glands, I mean, definitely with adrenal glands, but even without, they're still okay with the upgrades that they do have. I agree.
I'm loving the use of lurkers, really catching a lot of these stalkers off guard. Sadly, these ones.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh, spread! Really... Oh, spread! Don't fight here! Ah!
Yeah, don't. That's exactly what I was talking about, though. Like, you think 4 lurkers, no big deal. Like 4 swarm hosts, no, not the same.
Yeah, I'm surprised we actually didn't see swarm hosts. We haven't actually seen much of any swarm host usage after the changes.
I really don't think they're gonna be. I know you made like them kind of worthwhile, like that game versus Wolf, right? Now that was really cool to see. But when everything else is taking up so much money and so much gas and so much time too, as a Zerg player, I don't really know if it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, well, I mean they did have the cost change, right? So it's minerals more than gas, but. Ooh,
yeah, it's more about time for me right now. Looking at Zerg right now, because everything that they get that's new is basically evolving from something else.
Yeah, or so coming off of Hive Tech.
They what?
Or coming off of Hive Tech, like the new Viper.
Oh yeah.
Things, like, exactly. Adrenal glands being crazy. Yo, I really thought MaximusBlack and Puck were in so much trouble for so much of this game. You know, the early lane aggression, it didn't kill the Nexus, but it shut them down. It was already panic mode from the get-go. Maybe they were on tilt, I don't know, but they used that energy to focus up, and here in the late game, it really looks like their game to lose. They don't have a bank, but they've got money, they've got production, or not money, units, they've got production.
Oh, here we go.
There's that Mutaswap. Can they start getting Phoenixes out in time for this?
So, you know, if Teal Archon's anything like you or I was pretty good. They're very frustrated by how this game fell through their fingers. You know, they're not quite sure how it happened. They're like, you know, because they're not familiar to Legacy of the Void. But what also is funny, as you start to lose lurkers and they're not winning you the game anymore, is the only time where you realize, like, I should just kept 2 at these freaking ramps. Like, none of these run-bys would have freaking happened.
Yeah, it's something I definitely think we'll see more experienced players do as time goes on, but interesting choice to go for a lot of mass Archons and Cannons rather than go for any sort of Phoenix play. I can understand because you don't want to deal with the Corruptors, but man, just giving up that Alien Pulse Crystal advantage seems crazy to me. Feedback's on the Overseers, because why not? Grabs the Archon, that might have been a mistake. Could blast go off, but this is scary. You know, nothing here can shoot up, that's bad. Blinding Cloud's going down because why not? Reasons.
It looks like the Muta swap has the, it was the key to actually ending this game for Teal Archon, and that's some really bad for Red Archon to just, like, so close brought it back.
There's so many cannons they have to base trade through, though. I mean, look at this.
How many Mutas is that, though? That is 57 Mutas.
Okay, that's kind of crazy. I'll give you that much. Also, let's not forget the Corruptors can actually attack buildings now, too.
Yeah.
They can't attack units, but they can attack buildings with their downward attack.
Right, they're not useless because there's no Phoenix anymore. I mean, the only reason that they're up to so many Mutas and Corruptors is that they're only on 20 workers. I mean, their economy is now really in the gutter, but I think they're gonna win, ultimately.
I feel like it's going base trade mode right now. Like, just
it is. No Observer with the army.
Lack of detection. Cannons gonna get as much done as they can. I mean, Jesus, there's a lot of cannons, but you're right, 57 Mutas is still 57 Mutas, and they're gonna regenerate those hit points missing every single time. This is ridiculous. I mean, fighting around these cannons is really their last bastion of hope, right? But the Mutas could just come in from the other side where the Archons can't maneuver in. In fact, going around this entirely, no overcharge goes off. The Punishing 4 died too fast. Parasitic Bomb going down on the Phoenix. It's a lot of damage. Looks like it does not affect the Iranians for surezies now. Just other air. So good splits, but man, oh man, cannons getting depowered, that's not a good sign. That's not a good feeling. New Nexus trying to go up, but the Lurkers are already attacking it. You know what? This turned around so quickly. When they used that bank, when they finally got that money into those Mutas, this became a very different game. Blinding Clouds on top of the Archons. Abducting into the Muta Cloud is so dangerous, so scary.
You know what this reminds me of a little bit is when people started, at the very beginning part of the Swarm, they started to abduct High Templars in their army, and they quickly realized they shouldn't do that.
Oh man.
You just get stormed in feedback.
Pylons just depowered all the cannons. It's like 10 or 12 cannons here.
Do you like the depowered icon, by the way?
Yeah, it's kind of neat that they included that. I don't know that I cared much one way or the other, but it's just neat that it's there.
It is a neat little thing, but it is completely unnecessary. Like, it's obviously depowered.
You know, if we're gonna nitpick things with the Legacy of the Void, though, I would much rather they fix the minimap transparency. I'm still not a fan of that.
Oh no, they need to fix the freaking Corruptor attack. All right, like that's a stupid animation.
What, you don't like things that look like they're peeing?
Just like they just take a little whiz, no problem. They're like, you know what? They're like, okay, someone go Photoshop. You know that kid that's on the back of people's like cars
Calvin.
or whatever?
Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes, yeah.
Is that really him? I guess
Yeah.
there's like a bad version of him. All right, so like he's peeing on the wall, right? Like someone do that because it was a freaking Corruptor.
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. So, looks like Team Red has elected to just try and straight up fully base race it out. Look at all the extra cannons, look at all the extra pylons. I mean, they really don't want to have that depower issue again. But if they actually base trade this out, I mean, it really does seem to be their only option at this point. They don't have the production capabilities to make Phoenix anymore. The bank's not there. Killing all the buildings before they die to the Mutas might actually be their only choice.
Well, the Mutas are getting a little split up. I guess they are really looking towards that final, like, I'm gonna kill your last building before you are. Like, this is... It might be necessary. That is a lot of Archons.
Ah, but look at this. The Mutas are saying, screw it. I'm not afraid to fight. I don't care how many Archons
really,
you got in the open.
If
you magic boxes, if there's... They are!
Yeah,
not just a bit, they're really spread out for this.
Yeah. I think that'll work. There's actually a couple of lurkers with no detection that are doing just a little bit of damage to help out.
Oh man, the Archons get a little bit derpy with this attack too, but that's spread from all different angles. Even clumping up 57 Mutas is still 57 freaking Mutas. Loses like 3 in the engagement. Good game, ladies and gentlemen. Arium and Intense. Team Teal Archon will take the series. They get a 2-0. I'll send them $50. He comes out of BaseTradeTV's pocket. I don't know why my camera on. I'm just too used to going out of game screen, I guess, when we're done casting. Motor reflex, though. Oh, man. Archon mode show matches are kind of fun. I definitely think one of the biggest elements we need to try and add, though, is getting into calls, like jumping in and out to hear the team's thoughts as time goes on. That's
certainly true, but I really appreciate, like, that actually, that showed what Legacy of the Void, I think, wants to show. It wasn't just the Ling All-In winning, which I was quite afraid of.
I was too, yeah. Well, guys, thanks for watching.